Why don't we do the first one? Bobby's not going to be here, but usually I start off with the review of the septic system applications. So we only have one. It's from Bob Sheehan at 37 West Street. I did send this out. It's a repair, complete system, 4-bedroom house, tiny little lot. The review is complete, fee was paid, and it's application R 2021-30. The lot is deep sands, shallow water table, very small lot, level, wetlands in the back. The issue is that the small lot limits the area for the SAS. It actually prevents using traditional trenches. Wetlands are in the rear. The wells of this house and others are in the front. There is a shallow irrigation well in the rear. The existing SAS small lot looks like it permitted only one deep hole, although in that area, the soil should be the same all over. The design is for a 4-bedroom. It's 577 gallons a day versus the 550 required. It's got a 1,500 2-compartment tank. Got a single pump chamber. Got two 14-foot, 15 unit infiltrator trenches. Ballast for, in fact, I doubled up on ballast here, but ballast is required for the septic tank and the pump chamber. Fill is required, and there are vents. The SAS separation to the wells and the wetlands are all greater than 100 feet. So for the potable wells, so even in that little lot, he was able to get that. The well to the septic tank separation, their well, this property is only 90 feet. You couldn't versus the 50-foot regulation, but so the 90 feet is short of our 100-foot regulation. The SAS to the irrigation well is 50 feet with a 25-foot state regulation. It's requesting a variance from 5 feet to 4 feet for the water table. Neil Jackson was the board rep. There's a variance requested for only one soil observation pit, and the variance requested to Granby's requirement 100-foot well to septic tank separation. My suggestion is that we approve the variance for 4 to 5 feet for the water table separation, approve the variance for only one soil observation pit, approve the variance for Granby's 100-foot well to septic tank separation, approve the septic application subject to fill requirements and trench permit requirements.
Connected. Disconnected.
Somebody is giving us some background noise. I've had two people that I don't know who they are, but anyways, do you have any comments, Lee?
No, I read your online review of components, which you just went over again. Everything's very clear to me. I believe, given the size of the lot, the water table, this is as good as it's going to get over there.
Okay, so you approve it?
Yes.
And I do too, Colleen, so that system is approved with those conditions.
Okay. Okay.
The next thing I have is Colleen's paycheck, bill or timesheet. It's a normal 70-hour week. Do you have any issues with it, Lee?
No, thank you.
70-hour 2 weeks, not 70-hour week.
2 weeks, yeah, 14-day or 10-day. Yep.
And I don't have problems either, Colleen, so that's approved.
Okay.
The next one is the payment schedule. We've got a total of $1,265. That's $235 for Board of Health permits, $30 for licenses, $1,000 for Board of Health fees. That's for I imagine that's the $1,000 for the
The
smoking.
violation.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
yes.
that's it. Um, did Chris Martin tell you where that $1,000 should be going?
Yes, he told me to put it on that line. I've got it on, and it usually would say just perk test, and then, so that,
Okay.
he gave me those numbers. Yep.
Lee, are you okay with this one?
Oh, yes, thank you.
I am too, Colleen, so that's approved.
Okay.
The next one I have is a mobile food server. This is for the Granby Booster Club at the high school. They gave a plan to us. I guess we're gonna have to, it's outside, and I guess all of these are the same things, I guess. If it changes, it changes. Are you okay with this one, Lee?
Yeah, my only question, and I don't know, has this person had a permit in the past? And if so, I'm guessing they have a serve-safe person on staff or who owns this thing. Not,
They have had the permit before. I have to look and see if they've got who their serve safe is. Usually they says attached, but, and it could be that I have it on file, so I can check that. It's not attached here, but I will look and see that there's still, that's valid.
right, make sure they're still current. And if
Yeah.
not, then I guess they have to get someone to cover it who is
Yeah,
serve-safe certified.
So
Yeah.
I guess, Colleen, what the board would be saying is if they're set with the serve safe, in fact, if they're set with it, then we'd approve this and Lynn could inspect. But if they're not set, then the permit can't be given unless they have the serve
Okay.
safe. Is that what you're
Okay.
saying, Lee?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so that's what we'll do, Colleen.
Okay.
The next thing that I have is a disposal system construction permit for 26 Cold Hill. It looks like it's from Alan Weiss, and it looks like it's just for a D box.
Yes, the D-box was replaced on that site after the Title V. Jeff Luce here also did some work to a tight tank off a garage, which had a small office upstairs. The floats were no good, and they were repaired as well. But as far as I know, at this moment, the house has been sold. But the components have all been repaired and or replaced.
So we can approve this one.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Colleen, so you can sign off on that one.
Okay.
The next one that I have, and it's the final one, it's an application for it's actually a completion for 172 Porter Street. Actually, I drove by that today, not for that reason. I just happened to drive by it, and I noticed it looks like Greg did a really nice job of finishing it up. Are we all set with this one, Lee?
Yeah, I was there 2 Sundays ago. Everything looked to be exactly installed as per the design.
Okay, and I'm okay with that too, Colleen, so you can sign off on that one for us.
Okay.
We actually can, looks like Jeff Lucier is here. Is that correct, Jeff?
I am here. Can you hear me?
I can. Are Colleen and Lee, can you hear?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Okay, Jeff, the reason we had you come in is you put us in a really a terrible position. You didn't get your application in the time period that we need to be able to review it and make sure things are, cut the mustard. And so we end up in a spot that we have, a week or 2 weeks before the event. And you've got, in fact, you had signs out advertising this before this thing has been approved. And in reality, I think Colleen sent things out to everybody, notice to everybody that has these kinds of events, telling them what we need for notice to get our inspections done and get discussions done. And we really didn't want to stop your event from happening, but you have to comply with these regulations. I think everybody, Herb isn't here, but Lee is. But I think we agreed that if it happens again, we're going to have to just say no because you didn't comply. And we didn't want to do that without letting you know that we were going to do that.
I'm sorry that it was my mistake. I didn't relate with, and I'm sorry I did that. Yeah, Colin had it informed me that she would it no later than a month before, and I will make every effort to that in the future. And understand that if don't do it with a month, and I believe we'll get the.
I'm okay with it. Lee, I'm having some trouble, Jeff. Here, I can hear you enough, and I don't know if it's my system or yours that's having the trouble, but I could hear enough of it. Lee, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a timing thing. That's all.
So that's fine, Jeff, as long as you're going to make sure that, in this case, no one got hurt. And
Right.
and didn't get, your program just knocked off its rails. We certainly didn't want to do that.
No, that was not.
Right, appreciate, thank you.
Okay, then we're set, Jeff.
Okay, very good, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Good night.
All right, Jeff.
You too.
As we keep moving through, I've got,
Just a minute.
the minutes.
Hello? Can anybody hear me? Am I doing this wrong? Hello?
Hello, I don't know who you are, but
This is Kathy Berger. I represent the Booster Club. You were talking about the ServSafe certificate a few minutes ago.
yes.
I am the ServSafe qualified person in the crew.
Good, then that answers the question. Then Colleen doesn't have to go. Could you please get Colleen a copy of that?
I believe it's already been sent to her through Chrissy Massage. Through the Booster Club. It's already been emailed.
Okay, if you could just make sure that someone touches bases with Colleen, because at this point,
Yeah.
Colleen's got some information, but it doesn't include that. So just make sure someone gets in touch with Colleen and we get our records all straightened out.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
This is Christina Mashaka.
Yes?
I just wanted to thank you, and I will definitely make sure that Colleen gets that information.
Okay, fine. So we'll be all set.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good night.
Thank you.
you.
Okay. So minutes from August 17th. Colleen, thank you for catching me for skipping that.
Yep.
I didn't have any corrections to Colleen's, the minutes as Colleen took them. Lee, are you okay with them?
Yeah, everything I read seemed to be, in exact order, so everything should be fine. Thank you.
Okay, Colleen, then I, the same, so that's approved.
Okay.
The next one, we've got 4. I'll do these all together, Lee, if it's okay, but we've got Title V reports. 119 Bachelor Street, Neil Jackson was a pass. 192
Yes.
Taylor Street, Alan Weiss was a pass. 220 West State Street, Greg Everson was a fail. 151 Taylor Street, Greg Everson was also a fail. Are those okay to receive, Lee?
Yes, thank you. Everything is correct as far as pass and fail goes.
Okay, Colleen, I agree too, so you can receive those.
Okay.
Next items. Before we go into them, I had a couple inspections. One was a call from the fire department, and at, I guess it's called Lincoln Lodge right now. It's the old Stony Brook Motel that was converted into the apartments. And it actually turned out that the fire department was called because a resident said that there were fumes in her house, and when I got there, the fireman had the door open. I didn't see any furniture in the apartment. The fireman told me that the carpets had just been cleaned. It certainly smelled like a soap smell. The woman that was involved that said that she was living there was said she smelled other stronger chemicals before anybody got there, and obviously we couldn't smell them if they weren't there anymore. But the fire department was going to stay until the maintenance crew who did the work showed up. But they said the only chemicals they used were rug shampooing chemicals. I did inform the woman. The woman was not particularly cooperative. I did before I left, and like 3 or 4 times told her that and something was going on. There was an apartment next to it that was absolutely filled with stuff. It was hard to walk in. In fact, they asked me to go in and talk to her, and I said I had a mask on, but I said there's no way that I was going into that building, that I didn't feel safe to going into a place that I don't know if people have been vaccinated. I don't know anything. So, but anyway, she came out, and she had a little girl there that was, I'm going to guess, under 3, maybe 2. And she said a couple different things. One is she said that the little girl had spent the day at the doctor's for a normal checkup. But before that, she said that the little girl spent the whole day inside the apartment. And I don't know what apartment she was talking about. It may have been my apartment that was loaded with furniture as compared with the apartment that was cleaned. I didn't know, it didn't make sense to me that a little girl would be in an empty apartment all day. So I didn't pursue that, but I did make a point of saying if she felt like it was not safe to go into the either apartment for her or her child, that they shouldn't go in there, and that they should be telling the landlord that they don't feel safe going in there. And also, if she said she had a headache, and I said, if you or your child are sick, you should be going to a doctor, or the ambulance was there. The firemen said that they would gladly transport her or the child. And in fact, they offered, and she said to me, oh, that's too expensive. And so then, oh no, she didn't say it's too expensive. She said that will cost a lot of money. And then they, on several occasions, the EMT that was on site said, "I'm happy to bring your child or you over to the uh, the ambulance, and we can do a quick workup and do a blood O2 and give you an idea, at least on the surface, of whether stuff is not right up to snuff, and it won't cost you anything. We'll just do it right away." And she refused that. So, so I did leave, and the fire department stayed. The fire department and I both agreed the smell was not something that hazardous kind of material. It wasn't like there's gas. It wasn't like was engine fumes, and there were no fumes like that. It smelled like soap. And so there, hazmat was not called because there's nothing that they believed that was hazardous material. So I was there. The next thing that I looked at is Colleen got two different complaints for trash on the tree belt at 244 State Street. And I had seen what was a leatherette type sofa, brown sofa, on the side of the road there. And the first complaint was in fact about that. And when I went down today, I saw that was gone. And it looked like a whole bunch of new stuff that was there. In fact, it almost looked like they were running a tag sale. There were swings and chairs, and it looked like an air filter, and in fact, on the lawn there was a trampoline. So it turns out that I did talk to Brian O'Toole, our town council, being concerned that this could come up today. But as Colleen pointed out, since the trash that the original complaint was about was gone, and the stuff that's there now appeared not to be trash. In fact, I came by later in the day, and I'm guessing a third of it was gone. So maybe people are picking it up. I did see a man, a reasonably young man, out there apparently tending to this. And so Colleen suggested, and I agreed, that it was not a Board of Health issue. It was not something that should be on our agenda, and that it was a building inspector kind of issue, and also a select board permitting issue if it's a tag sale. So I'm not looking for a discussion. I'm just saying I did an inspection, and I'm just reporting on the inspection. And actually, I'm not even putting this out for discussion. It's just a report. So I will move on. The next meeting, the next issue I have on the list is there is a town meeting that's coming up on or about September 18th. And that, what is it, Colleen?
I think it's the 20th, Monday, the 20th.
Okay, the 20th. And Lee, when we talked about this before, I am going to be away that week. Herb had said he would be at that one, and that one is a meeting that is going to carry the request for $5,000 for the mosquito testing. And our issue on that one was that the testing is in fact the very thing that prevents unwanted spraying. It's because you know whether the stuff is here or not. And that's our best protection. But the question is, can you be at that meeting?
Are these 7 o'clock starts?
Colleen, do you know if,
I'd have to check. I I think it might be, but I would have to check.
Okay. I mean, I think Kathy posted something today. I'll have to read it tomorrow. It was too hectic to stop today, but I'll look at it tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah, as long as I can, get there for 7-ish, shouldn't be a big deal.
okay.
I
The
believe
next-
that's 7, by the way.
It is 7?
I believe so.
Okay, thank you. The next one is the email Colleen got from the yoga business at Five Corners, and they requested that they not have, they wear the mask going into the building, but we requested that they take the mask off while they were exercising. And my comment to Colleen was that's exactly the place that you'd expect to get, if we're gonna spread COVID, is while you're exercising in a room like that, that's exactly when you have to wear masks. What is your thought, Lee?
Well, no, that makes perfect sense. As you're exercising and you're breathing a little harder, a little deeper, then you're exhaling and also, of course, inhaling a lot more aggressively than usual. And if no one's wearing a mask and someone either has COVID or is carrying COVID, whether it's the Delta, the Lambda, or, the store shelf version, it's not a good idea.
And that's what,
So I agree.
okay, Colleen, so we both agree that absolutely they have to wear masks in that situation.
Okay,
The next
Mhm,
one
all right.
I have is an email for the trick and treat drive through the Granby Preservation Society. That one, they wanted to just duplicate the same thing that they did last year. Lee, I didn't see any more problem doing this. In fact, hopefully it's a less threatening or less chance of transmission. And I guess the last year it was little kids that didn't get it with an alpha variant. Now we've got Delta that does get little kids, but if it's outside, and I don't see that it's any different than the booster club. In fact, it's probably somewhat lower chance of transmission. What are you thinking, Lee?
Yeah. No, I'm thinking the same thing. They're going to be in their cars driving through an area, and they'll have a chance to have some candy given to them or something on the way by. And again, as you pointed out, they're outside, they're within their own family, so it's as low key as we can get while still having some sense of the event taking place.
So Colleen, we're approving that. As it turns out, since they're not serving food, I'm not sure they even need our approval. That
Okay.
this isn't like last year. But
Okay.
the next one on our list, it's actually got a double issue with it. Colleen's got it as a mask order and enforcement. I did talk to Kevin, and Kevin said that the police are no longer our agents. That once the emergency declaration went away, then all of those special conditions that we can put in went away with it. And he's saying he would like not to have the police. In fact, I was going to have Colleen ask him to have the police to deliver our little sign notices. And Kevin at this point said, I'd really like not to do that, especially since the police aren't involved with enforcement right now. And I think correctly, he's in a position that one is he's brand new in his job, and the other is that he pointed it out that that trying to come up with the the pressure on all police departments to not be exerting unnecessary force on the community. He's very sensitive to it, and I think he's really correct. And so he's just saying, let's not do that. So that's how I ended up with enforcement. But what I did do, and I sent it out, Lee, I don't know if you saw it. I took our we were going to draft a mask regulation before the governor came in and put that in. So I took the regulation that puts in what I tried to do, the proper legalese, and come up with a regulation. We adopted the regulation, but we didn't adopt anything with words to it. So I think
Michael's coming over to get.
so. That's locked. That's on. Oh, my son's coming over and coming through the door right next to me, and our alarm is set. So it's better to shut it off now than have you guys all hear it scream.
Right.
And so at some point we need to adopt the regulation. And I don't know if you're ready to do it, Lee.
I don't see why not.
Okay. Colleen, if that's the case, let's do it. And it does talk about penalties, but it's a soft kind of penalties. It's basically we'd issue tickets, and it's the one that Brian O'Toole had reviewed a year and a half ago. So,
Sure.
Colleen, if that's the case, then Lee agrees and I agree. So you can sign that for us.
Okay.
Okay. All right, great.
I've got one that, so we don't forget it. 114 North Street. We've got a couple different letters from the building inspector, and it looks like what he's saying is that the new room is now constructed with a slider that allows him to say it's got a legal safe egress, but it doesn't have the windows to make it a bedroom. And his advice to us is that it's really as good as it's going to get. He in his note, he expressed doubts that if someone changed it in without permits, that it could be done and turned into a bedroom. But he said, as it stands right now, it doesn't have the windows. It really would need a permit to legally do the work. And if someone breaks the law, then they break the law, but they can break the law anytime. So his advice was, this is as good as it's going to get. And it's not a bedroom and can't easily be made into a bedroom in his eyes. And his suggestion to us is that we say, okay, it's not going to be more than a 3-bedroom house.
Okay, I understand. I mean, I know he's been working very hard on this to keep an eye, because there have been so many changes in the past about where we were heading on this piece of property. So I think it's important that not only, one, that he's keeping us in the loop, but two, telling us that in his professional opinion, we're at a spot where we can sign away on this, knowing that we're getting what everyone really wants from the homeowner.
Yep, and
So,
I guess, and I guess when the system does end up finally failing, then we'll have to correct it. It'll be corrected up the code at that point, or if it gets changed without a permit, it's going to show up sometime. It's going to be at someone selling the property, and all of a sudden it shows up as a 4-bedroom property, and then you have to go after it if it indeed happens. But I agree with you. I think, Colleen, if Lee and I do in fact agree that when the owner comes in with the building permit for the Board of Health sign off on it for the new room as a
Mhm.
3-bedroom house, that we just sign off on it and we do not require a septic system investigation. So you can just sign off. You can just sign off
Okay,
saying that it's okay.
okay,
So that one is behind us. I've got another that our air sample or air sensor grant. I talked to both McDuffie and Stephen Sullivan at the public schools, and both were really, really anxious to be active participants in trying to look at that small particulate, that whatever it is, the 2.5 PM 2.5, I think. But they were very, very interested in pursuing. I did talk to Chris Martin about it too, and he had seen the grant opportunity, and he was concerned that because we were not a low income, high minority community, he said, I don't think you've got any chance at getting any of that money. But he certainly sounds like he would support it as needed. And Herb was going to prepare the grant, but obviously from Herb's note that we're going to not expect to hear much from Herb for 4 to 6 weeks, and that grant's got to be in by the I think the first week in or the 10th of October, which is clearly in the area when Herb may not be here. Do you want me to take a shot at filling out the grant for our next meeting?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to throw me a copy, I can start, or we can, put it both together, whatever is in the best interest.
Okay, as I recall, it wasn't very complicated. So let me dig it out. Colleen, I may end up having to go back to you if I can't find
Yep.
where I put it. But
okay,
we'll
okay.
see what we're gonna do if we can fill it up.
Okay.
What else do we, Colleen, you usually have some stuff that I've forgotten. Oh, by the way, you sent a note saying that Eversource wanted to set up a meeting. I left a message with, I forget, I don't see it right in front of me, but the person that was from Eversource at our last meeting, who said
Right, Amy Henderson, yeah.
yeah, Amy Henderson, and she never got back to me.
Oh, well, they could be, I don't think it was a thing that they were doing right away, so maybe, he's still just, going to get back to you. I haven't heard from them other than they wanted a bunch of septic system, files. So I sent them, quite a few
Okay.
that some were already on the computer, some I scanned in and I emailed them all to the fellow that asked for them, so they could kind of look, at everything in town that might be near the power lines and stuff, so.
I did notice though, when I came out of Barton Street, that if you head south, I guess it's south, it could be east, whatever it is on Pleasant Street, right? So you take a left coming out of Barton Street at Pleasant Street, and down in the back of where Myron Ingham used to live, they were working. That group of people had the logs down there and yesterday when I was driving down Porter Street at where Easton crosses, there were two big trucks with those, they look like they're 8x8s or 10x10s or 12x12s, but they're big logs that they build those platforms out of. So I surmise they were going to be taking, well, I could be wrong. I was assuming they were going to take a left and go down Easton Street where those power lines cross, but they also cross right at Frank Souza's on Aldrich Street. So who knows there? But anyway, she didn't call me back.
Oh, okay.
Other issues for us?
Let's see. I think that's it. I think you hit everything. Yeah, I don't
Be
think
good
I have
to us
anything
now,
else.
Colleen.
No, I can't. No, I can't. I wrote my notes and I don't see anything else, so hopefully that was it.
That's what I
Okay.
want to hear.
Not, you'll get an email.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at my. Yeah, I'm set. I don't have any more on my little pen scratching. So if that's it, we're gonna go home.